Hey, welcome. So good to see you. My name's Ewan and I am the online pastor here at City Life Church. So tired. I play a number of different roles as a husband, friend, family member. Still in and coming out of a long pandemic. Money's tight, people are struggling. And it's really hard to ask for help when we're not doing well. The good thing is, I have friends who will check in on me, who will ask these important questions. Come and meet one. Here's Shelley. So Shelley and I have known each other for a long time. She's one of my best friends and a groomswoman when I got married. We've been colleagues, we've been through a lot together, and we get each other.
Well, pastoral ministry can sometimes be like whiplash. 1 minute you're celebrating a birth, and then literally conducting someone's wedding, and then the next day you could be mourning with someone over a death. There's so many emotions, and you're just like, oh.
Do you ever feel though, like, because of the role of pastor, you've got to kind of hold it all together?
I don't want people to just see platform Shelley, oh wow, she's got it all together. She's happy all the time, she's bubbly. I am those things, but at the same time, I want people to know that it's okay to struggle. You don't always have to have it together, because that's real life.
So for those of us who are Christians, like, especially, when we're trying to convince other people that we've got the answers to life, I think it can be really difficult to admit when we need help. But the thing is, I think we all struggle, and no one's alone in that.
I mean, you've only got to look at the Psalms, and these writers, there's so much honesty, so much authenticity crying out to God from someone who clearly doesn't have it all together.
Yeah, and I think it's for everyone, not just those of us who are in ministry or, people serving areas. I mean, the latest stats in Australia I saw the other day showed that across the board, at any given moment, 1 in 5 people are struggling with their mental health. And about half of us are going to have some sort of mental health crisis at some stage in our life. That's a lot. So we've got to be honest, firstly with ourselves, to admit that we need help, but then to be brave enough to begin to speak to others. We need each other.
It's not everybody. It's just 1, 2, maybe even 3 of your closest friends who you trust, who know you well, who can actually tell if you're having an off day.
So we're not letting our emotions spill out onto the whole world over social media.
It's being wise with who you can and can't bleed with.
Yeah. And I think, like, for me, being male, it's helpful to have other male friends around who I can bounce off, but also having a female, a couple of female friends, not just my wife, but other people like yourself, who, can ask me these questions and you can say, hey, are you okay? How are you doing? And who, I guess I've given that permission to say that and say, hey, Ewan, how are you doing?
And sometimes when we're going through a really tough time, it can take more than just our closest friends or our family to actually get us beyond that point, because we can get stuck. And that's when it's worth seeing a counsellor or someone with more skills.
Friends are, of course, a tremendous support, and we don't want to diminish the role in that.
This is Scott Wakeling, a clinical psychologist who works at City Life Community Care. He highlighted that professionals in this area have an extensive amount of training and accreditation.
The point is they've got some skills specific to this helping role. And sometimes that can help us to see a point where we're stuck. And to use the car and the mechanic analogy, I guess if I were responsible for servicing my own vehicle all the time, I would miss things for sure that the mechanic is going to, they're going to pick up on it.
There was a time a few years ago where there was a lot of people who had passed away. A lot of things happened. A lot of medical stuff even happened in my family. What I didn't even recognise was like a trauma response to my phone ringing. If someone called me like late at night, my body would start to shake. It was like massive anxiety where I'd shake because I would think something's gone wrong. And so going to counselling to help with that, because it was identifying, hey, when your phone is ringing late at night, when my body would shake, I feel like there's some kind of control over it, whereas it's like I can identify it and say, oh, I know what this is, and like I can de-escalate it really quickly.
So how do you actually start this process? Like, do you just rock up.
into City Life Community Care, like getting
Yeah.
help. It's quite easy with City Life Community Care. You literally just can give them a call on the phone, and they're actually really cool because you get put through to what they call an intake worker,
Okay.
which can be a bit intimidating. So you got to tell this like person over the phone who you're like, oh,
Here are my
about your-
problems.
Here's my problems.
Yeah.
But it's actually really helpful because different people come with different problems. So
Yeah.
some people can come with anxiety, depression, family problems, eating disorders, and so we've actually got a whole range of people who specialise in different areas.
On the City Life Community Care website, you can see a profile of all the different services, but also all the different people that are doing counselling or psychology work. That's a really good first step. And you're not locked in. You could start and you could try and you could go for one session. So you're never locked in either.
At my old church, the first psychologist I ever went to 17 years ago, oh my goodness, her and I did not get along, and I didn't realise that it was a personality clash. Now the counsellor that I have from City Life Community Care, I recommend to everybody because she's like my favourite. So I think sometimes if it doesn't click,
You're allowed to move around and try out different people.
absolutely. But I think like if you've tried 10, maybe point the finger back to you,
So once you've made a start, all the details like how often you meet, online or in person, it's all worked out together with the counsellor. What might have felt like an embarrassing struggle that you want to keep secret can actually be turned into something really good.
If I want to be strong, if I want to be successful, if I want to keep doing what I believe God's called me to do, I need to make sure that I'm regularly checking the engine, and that's not just my physical body, it's actually my mind as well, and making sure I'm getting regular checkups. And sometimes it can be like seen as a weakness, like, oh, maybe is that a weakness? It's not a weakness, it's a strength to say, hey, I know how to reach out and get help.
It's like having a professional sports coach, but for your mind.
Absolutely.
So look, all of this has been a really good reminder for me that we need friends, we need each other, we need to be able to ask for help, and we need sometimes to go to the next level to ask for professional help. There's one more thing, and it's something the Bible reminds us of also. Share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ.
I think it's also about being willing to listen though. You could come up to me and I might not be able to pick up in the moment that you're not doing okay because I might not be listening. So in those moments when you have an encounter with somebody, you have a choice. Do I stop? Do I listen? Do I engage? And do I engage with all my senses? Or am I just going to go, oh man, I don't have time. I'm going to run off to the next thing.
And this is where the Are You OK Day organisation has some really great resources, like tips on being a good friend who shares in another's burdens. If you're unsure about what to say, try these 4 steps. First, ask, are you okay? Then, listen. Really listen. After they've shared what they're going through, encourage them to think about what they can do to move forward. And then finally, don't leave it there. Keep checking in to see how they're going after your conversation. Remember, you don't need qualifications to be a good friend and help someone in what they're going through. I'll leave you there. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you enjoy your time here. Take care.
And in some way we're all soldiers.